The silent arrival. The war zone was alive with chaos. Explosions lit the darkness between stars as fleets of alien ships maneuvered with deadly precision. Jagged asteroids drifted in the void, turning the battlefield into a treacherous minefield. Pulses of energy from laser cannons tore through the black, and alien cries echoed across communication channels, urgent and panicked. This was not a place for mercy. This was a place for survival. But tonight, something new appeared on the sensors of every warship. Something that froze every alien pilot in terror. Something no one had expected. A single blip appeared on the distant edge of the battlefield. At first it seemed small and insignificant, but as it drew closer, the readings became impossible to ignore. A human warship, massive, silent, and unlike anything the alien fleets had ever seen, had entered the war zone. The first scout ship to spot it barely had time to react. Its communication relay trembled as the pilot sent frantic warnings to its fleet. Unknown vessel approaching. No markings. No transmissions. It doesn't belong here. Across the war zone, alien factions paused mid-combat. The usual shouts of command faded into static as every commander struggled to understand the threat. None had seen humans in person before. None knew their capabilities. But legends and fragmented intelligence suggested that humans were unpredictable, powerful, and dangerous. The warship itself was massive, built for both offense and endurance. Its surface shimmered with dark alloys that absorbed sensor scans. Even the most advanced alien radars struggled to pin it down. It moved slowly, deliberately, almost as if it were watching, calculating, waiting. There were no visible weapons firing, no signals. No messages, just the quiet drift of a lone predator entering the hunting ground of other predators. Inside the bridge of the human warship, the crew moved like shadows. Figures dressed in simple dark uniforms slid silently across the room. Their faces were calm, focused, and unreadable. Not a single word was spoken beyond the necessary commands. Each hand hovered over a control panel with precision, each movement deliberate. They had entered the war zone for a reason. But that reason, for now, remained a mystery. Back in the alien command ships, tension rose like a tidal wave. Alien leaders huddled over displays, their claws and tentacles trembling as they tried to interpret the readings. Was this warship a scout, a raider, or worse, a weapon designed to annihilate everything in its path? Opinions clashed violently. Some urged immediate attack. Others warned caution. Striking first could provoke the humans, and no one knew what humans would do if provoked. A massive fleet of insectoid aliens positioned themselves for a strike. Their bioships pulsated with energy, wings extended like blades ready to cut through the void. "Prepare to fire!" their leader commanded. But hesitation lingered. The humans had not fired yet, and the unknown always demanded respect or fear. Scouts continued to report back as the human warship glided closer. Its engines were silent, its trajectory precise. Every movement seemed purposeful, almost intelligent in a way that unsettled the alien commanders. The more they watched, the more they realized that their normal tactics would not work. No ambush, no overwhelming firepower, no stealth maneuvers could touch the ship. Not yet. It was as if the warship existed outside the rules of the battlefield itself. On the human ship, the captain finally spoke. His voice was calm, almost unnervingly so. "Prepare the observation drones," he said, eyes fixed on the alien fleets. "Let them see us. Let them wonder. But do not act. Not yet." His words were quiet, but they carried authority that demanded immediate obedience. The observation drones launched silently into space, weaving through asteroids and alien patrols without detection. Their cameras transmitted images back to the bridge. The humans saw everything, the chaos, the fear, the fractured communication lines. They studied the enemy not to attack, but to understand. Every pattern, every hesitation, every mistake was logged and analyzed. The humans were hunters, but these hunters did not need to roar. They merely watched, and the prey panicked on its own. The alien fleets were growing restless. Some ships edged closer, scanning the human warship with high-energy pulses, attempting to provoke a response. But there was none. The warship remained silent, its presence alone a threat. Entire alien squadrons began to falter. Orders were shouted in panic. "Attack it! Hold your fire! Do not underestimate them!" The discord spread faster than any weapon could fire. Morale wavered. Confidence cracked. And then it happened. A sudden pulse of energy erupted from the human warship. Not a weapon. Not an attack. Something different. It rippled through space, bending sensors and throwing alien instruments into chaos. Ships that had approached cautiously suddenly found themselves adrift, their engines temporarily disabled. Screens flickered with strange patterns. Alien crews shrieked in alarm. No one understood what had just happened, but everyone felt it. The presence of the human warship was no longer merely a threat. It was a statement. The alien leaders scrambled, issuing conflicting orders in a storm of panic. Some fleets attempted to retreat. Others tried to regroup, forming defensive patterns they had trained for years to perfect. But the human warship was already moving, silently drifting closer, almost as if mocking them. It did not chase. It did not flee. It simply existed in the center of the storm, and its silence carried more weight than any battle cry. Inside the bridge, the captain of the human warship watched the chaos unfold. His face remained calm, unreadable. "Keep analyzing," he said. "We are not here to fight yet. Let them reveal themselves. Let them make the first mistake." His officers nodded without question. Every human on the bridge understood the plan. They were the calm in the storm, the silence before the roar. And soon, the aliens would understand that humans were nothing like any enemy they had faced before. In the alien fleets, tension was unbearable. Ships floated like wounded animals, unsure whether to attack or flee. Leaders barked orders that contradicted one another. Screams of fear and anger filled the comms. Every sensor reading pointed to one unsettling truth. The humans were unpredictable. The humans were powerful. And the humans were patient. As the warship drifted silently, its dark hull gleaming faintly against the stars, another pulse of energy emitted from its core. This one was different. Sensors went haywire, navigation systems sparked. Entire squadrons lost control, drifting helplessly in the void. Panic surged. Alien leaders screamed into their microphones, but no response came. The human warship remained calm, unmoving, unbothered, and then it stopped. All movement ceased, as if the ship itself commanded the battlefield. The pulse faded, but the tension did not. Every alien fleet was paralyzed. The war zone had never known such silence. The unknown had arrived, and it would not be ignored. In that moment, the humans aboard their warship exchanged brief glances, each understanding the significance of what they had done. Their presence alone had rewritten the rules of engagement. No words were needed. The aliens already feared them. The war zone had a new master, or at least a new question it could not answer. The chapter closed with a single terrifying thought echoing across every alien mind. What do the humans want? And in the darkness of space, the answer remained a mystery. The war zone was still trembling from the arrival of the human warship. Alien fleets drifted in uncertainty, unsure if they should fight or flee. Silence hung over the battlefield like a storm cloud, heavier than any laser barrage or missile strike. Every ship was on edge, engines humming, sensors scanning, claws and tentacles twitching with fear. The humans had shown no signs of aggression, yet their presence alone had shifted the balance of power. And then, without warning, it happened. A single energy beam lanced out from the human warship. It tore through space like a blade of pure light. Alien sensors screamed alarms, but it was too late. One of the largest battleships in the insectoid fleet exploded in a silent, magnificent eruption. The shockwave rattled nearby ships, and shards of debris scattered into the void. Panic erupted instantly. The alien commanders could not believe what they had just witnessed. No one had fired a salvo like this. No one had ever destroyed a warship with such precision, such speed, such undeniable finality. The insectoid flagship's leader shrieked into the comms, demanding explanations from his scattered fleet. "What weapon is this? Where is it coming from? Identify it. Destroy it." But the human warship remained motionless, hovering calmly in the center of the chaos, silent as the void itself. Inside the human ship, the bridge hummed with quiet efficiency. The captain, tall and unshakable, watched the display as the alien fleet floundered. His eyes scanned every movement, every retreat, every hesitation. "Good," he said softly, almost to himself. "Let them see. Let them understand what happens when humans decide to act." His crew responded without question. Every hand was ready, every console manned, every eye focused. They were not celebrating, not even relieved. They were executing a plan, one that had been prepared for years, one that required perfect timing and absolute patience. The alien fleets tried to reorganize. Smaller warships darted forward, hoping to flank the human vessel. Energy pulses fired indiscriminately, beams crisscrossing the void. But their attacks passed harmlessly through the human warship's shields, which shimmered faintly, absorbing or deflecting every strike. The humans had anticipated every possible maneuver. The ship adjusted, rotated, and redirected power silently, without a single sound, beyond the low hum of its engines. The aliens could not predict the human movements. Their patterns were unfamiliar, their strategies unlike anything the aliens had encountered in centuries of war. From the command deck of an alien cruiser, the leader of a reptilian faction hissed furiously. "We cannot win against this," she shouted, scales bristling in fear. "Their firepower, it's precise. It is as if they know our next move before we make it." Her crew scrambled, attempting to reprogram targeting sensors. But the humans were already one step ahead, forcing the alien ships into defensive positions. And then the second strike came. This time, it was not aimed at a ship directly. A massive asteroid field had been threatening the alien fleet, hiding hidden mines and traps. In an instant, the human warship unleashed a controlled wave of energy that shattered the asteroids, turning them into a shower of fragments that scattered across the battlefield. Alien ships were caught in the debris, engines damaged, weapons destroyed, and communications cut. The chaos grew exponentially. Alien leaders struggled to coordinate. Conflicting orders, panicked commands, and misfires created a chain reaction of failure. Some factions accused each other of cowardice, others assumed betrayal. The human warship did not fire again. It did not need to. Its presence, its precision, and its first strikes had already sown confusion and terror. Inside the warship, the captain studied every movement on his screens. His eyes were sharp, calculating. "They are reacting exactly as expected," he said. "They think we are attacking without reason. They do not understand. Soon they will learn." For a moment, silence returned. Alien scouts tried to regroup, to understand what had happened. The human ship did not move aggressively. It drifted closer, deliberately, teasing the alien forces. Every time the aliens tried to mount a counterattack, the humans anticipated it. Every move seemed preempted, every strategy nullified before it began. Then came the whispers among the alien fleets. Reports of strange readings, energy pulses they could not trace, systems failures that seemed unnatural. The humans, "They are not just a warship," one officer said in a trembling voice. "They are something else, something beyond our comprehension." Fear spread faster than any weapon ever could. Back on the human ship, the crew did not celebrate. They studied, logged, and recorded every reaction. Every mistake the aliens made was catalogued. Every hesitation, every error, every act of panic was carefully observed. This was more than a strike. This was a lesson, a demonstration. The aliens realized they had no choice. The human warship had forced them into a corner. Some tried to flee, retreating into the far reaches of the battlefield. Others formed tight defensive formations, hoping to survive long enough to regroup. But the humans did not pursue with violence. They pursued with inevitability, and then, as if to remind everyone that they were still in control, the human warship emitted another energy pulse. Not destructive this time, just a signal. a ripple across the battlefield that disabled minor systems across alien ships, creating temporary confusion. Every alien pilot felt it, every ship faltered, and for a brief moment, the humans' power was undeniable. The captain leaned back slightly, eyes scanning the battlefield. "They think they understand us," he said quietly. "They do not. They have no idea." Inside the alien fleets, despair settled like a shadow. The warship had struck first, without warning, without reason, and yet with precision and restraint that no one could fathom. Morale shattered. Orders were ignored. Chaos reigned, and the unknown threat of the humans loomed larger than ever. Then the humans did something unexpected. They paused. They did not strike again. They did not advance. They remained in the center of the war zone, silent, observing. It was a message no one could ignore. A young officer aboard a small alien cruiser whispered to his commander, voice trembling. What do they want?" The commander had no answer. No one did, and in that quiet moment the humans prepared for what was coming next. The first strike had shown their strength. The silence that followed showed their control. The galaxy had witnessed the power of humanity for the first time in this war zone, and it would never forget it. The cliffhanger hung heavy in the void. The humans had struck. But why? What was their plan? And what would they do next? The alien fleets had no answer. The war zone was theirs, but the humans had rewritten the rules of engagement. The first strike was just the beginning. The war zone had fallen into uneasy silence. Alien fleets drifted among the wreckage of their own shattered ships, engines humming cautiously. The void itself seemed to hold its breath. The humans had struck and then paused, leaving chaos behind without firing another shot. Every alien commander struggled to make sense of what they had seen. The first strike had destroyed a massive battleship, disrupted the asteroid field, and disabled numerous ships without causing total annihilation. It was a demonstration of power, but also restraint. And restraint puzzled the alien minds. Scouts and spies were dispatched to uncover the humans' intentions. Strange signals were detected, encrypted transmissions, subtle and silent, that moved faster than any alien communication. Some suggested it was a warning. Others believed it might be a trap. The aliens did not know what to believe. In the insectoid fleet, a young officer examined a recovered probe's data. "They are communicating," he whispered to his commander. "But their message, we cannot read it. It is not like any language we know. It feels deliberate," the commander hissed. "Then it is a threat. They are mocking us. They are watching and deciding when to strike again. We must act before it is too late," but other factions disagreed. The reptilian warlord aboard a massive cruiser spoke calmly, though her scales twitched with tension. "Acting rashly will destroy us. The humans are not like us. We do not know their limits, their weapons, or their motives. We must observe and try to understand." Observation became the focus. Alien fleets adjusted their senses, scanning the human warship from every angle. But the ship itself was ghost-like. No weapons were deployed. No shields flared. No transmissions responded to the alien hails. It was as if the humans were everywhere and nowhere at once. Inside the human warship, the bridge was quiet. Crew members moved methodically, analyzing every alien reaction. They studied the hesitation, the fear, the conflicting orders. Humans were not in the war to destroy indiscriminately. They were in the war to understand, to calculate, to assert dominance without unnecessary loss. A young human officer, monitoring alien communication patterns, reported, "They are trying to decode our signals. Multiple factions are attempting different decryption methods simultaneously. None are succeeding." The captain nodded. "Good, let them waste energy and time. Confusion is the first weapon of war." Back in the alien fleets, rumors began to circulate. Whispers passed between ships, through channels and comm relays, about strange occurrences. Minor energy anomalies appeared where human drones had flown. Some ships reported systems behaving erratically, engines stuttering for no apparent reason. The insects, the reptiles, even the crystalline factions began to fear that humans could manipulate the battlefield without even firing a shot. The whispers grew into dread. The humans. "They are not like any enemy we have fought," one officer said nervously. "They are something else." Among the alien fleets, suspicion turned to paranoia. Leaders argued over strategy. Some wanted to retreat, some wanted to attack. Others suggested trying to communicate directly, though no one knew if humans would even respond. Fleet cohesion began to crack. Orders were ignored, transmissions went unanswered, and hesitation spread like wildfire. Meanwhile, the humans deployed a series of small, silent probes. They moved carefully, weaving through the wreckage and alien fleets, capturing data. Each probe sent streams of information back to the ship. Humans observed, logged, and processed every reaction, building a comprehensive map of alien weaknesses and strengths. A reptilian commander noticed one of these probes too late. His energy beam fired in panic, hoping to destroy it, but the probe vanished before impact. "Impossible," he hissed. "They are everywhere. They anticipate every move." The humans were indeed everywhere, not physically but strategically. Every maneuver, every hesitation, every error made by the alien forces was anticipated. Humans did not merely fight. They calculated, predicted, and manipulated the battlefield from the shadows. And then came the first human message. It was not a transmission, not a broadcast, not even a signal that could be detected by conventional means. It was subtle, an encoded pulse that only alien sensors picking up minor fluctuations could detect. Few noticed it, but those who did were alarmed. The pulse contained a pattern, a rhythm, a language entirely foreign. Alien scientists and cryptographers studied it frantically. "It is a warning, or a riddle," one said. "It is intelligent. It is deliberate. But I cannot read it." Across the war zone, the whispers turned to speculation. "They are communicating," one insectoid officer said. "They do not attack us again." Why? What do they want? Fear mixed with curiosity. The humans had struck once, and yet the war zone was frozen in uncertainty. Every alien mind was consumed by questions. Every commander realized that acting without understanding could be fatal. Inside the human warship, the captain observed silently. "Let them guess," he said. "The more they wonder, the more mistakes they make. Humans do not need to destroy everything to win. Humans win by knowledge, by understanding, by patience." Then, in the shadows of the asteroid field, strange readings began to emerge. Alien ships reported sensors flickering, unexpected energy spikes, and minor system malfunctions. The whispers of the unknown grew louder. The aliens could feel the presence of something beyond the human warship itself. Something intelligent, something calculating, something dangerous. A young alien pilot screamed into the comms, "Commander, the energy readings, they are alive. They are moving." Thinking. The commander's claws trembled as he tried to maintain control. Do not panic. Focus on the fleet." But panic had already spread. Alien fleets broke formation. Some retreated behind asteroids. Others huddled near wreckage, hoping the humans would strike again, or hoping they would not. The whispers of the unknown became a roar in their minds. And then the humans acted again, but not with weapons. A single small drone emerged from the ship and moved toward the largest alien battleship. It did not fire. It did not attack. It merely circled, scanning, observing. The alien crew of that battleship panicked, unsure how to respond. Every attempt to destroy it failed. The drone disappeared, reappeared elsewhere, and vanished again. The message was clear. Humans were not merely ships. Humans were strategy. Humans were intelligence. Humans were the unknown. The war zone, which had been filled with violence and chaos, now hung in suspense. The aliens did not know if they were about to be attacked or observed. They did not know if humans were here to fight, to negotiate, or simply to study. And the humans themselves remained a mystery, silent and unyielding. For the first time, some alien factions began to consider communication. Perhaps humans were not here to destroy, but to warn. Perhaps there was a reason behind the first strike, a method to their madness. Others argued this was a trap, a lure to bring the fleets into total destruction. Inside the human warship, the captain watched all of this unfold. "Soon," he said, voice low, "they will reveal themselves. Soon they will act in ways we expect. But not yet. Patience. Patience is humanity's greatest weapon." As the stars glittered cold and distant, the war zone remained frozen in uncertainty. The humans had struck once. They had shown power, precision, and intelligence. And now, the whispers of the unknown spread across every alien ship, across every fleet, across every mind. The cliffhanger lingered like a shadow. The humans had communicated, but only partially. The aliens could sense something greater, something hidden, and the next move was coming. No one in the war zone would sleep easy tonight. The humans had arrived, and their plan was only beginning. The war zone was no longer a battlefield. It had become a theater of fear. Alien fleets drifted like wounded beasts among the wreckage, scanning, calculating, panicked. The humans had struck once, observed, and sent whispers of the unknown across the void. Now tension hung heavier than any energy pulse, but the humans were not alone. From the far edge of the war zone, faint signals appeared on alien sensors. Shadows of ships moving in the dark, faster than the eye or sensors could track. At first, the alien commanders dismissed them as glitches, echoes of the first strike, or minor reconnaissance drones. But the patterns were deliberate, coordinated, unmistakably intelligent. The whispers began again. "Another fleet?" one officer hissed. "More humans." No one knew for certain. No one had ever seen a fleet move with such stealth, such silence. And yet, there it was, an unseen armada weaving through asteroids and wrecked ships, almost as if it were invisible. Inside the human warship, the captain's face remained calm, unreadable. "They see it," he said quietly. "They know we are not alone. Let them wonder who else is here." Small observation drones darted from the ship like shadows. They moved among the alien fleets, recording every reaction. No weapons fired, no shields flared, but the aliens reacted as though the drones were the tip of an approaching spear. Their panic deepened. An insectoid scout sent to investigate the anomaly barely transmitted its observation. Unknown ships, faster, cloaked, moving in coordination. Humans? The transmission cut off abruptly as the scout was disabled by a subtle energy pulse, an invisible touch that left no mark, no damage, just confusion. Across the war zone, alien fleets argued furiously. "Attack!" shouted one commander. "Wait!" countered another. "Do you see what is happening?" A reptilian admiral banged claws on his console. "We are being herded," observed, manipulated. "And they have not even fired a weapon yet." Every alien faction realized the same terrifying truth. Humans were not just a single warship. They were an entire force, hidden in shadows, appearing only when necessary, striking fear without a fight. The war zone had become a chessboard, and the humans were moving all the pieces without revealing themselves. Inside the human ship, the crew worked silently. Every drone, every sensor, every subtle pulse of energy was calculated. They were mapping alien fleets, testing reactions, probing weaknesses. Every mistake an alien made, every hesitation, every act of panic was logged and analyzed. Humans were patient, methodical, precise. "Captain," one officer said, "the Shadow Fleet is ready. Their presence is undetected by most aliens. They can deploy anywhere we need." The captain nodded. "Good, let them continue. Observation first, action second. Humans strike only when the time is right." And then the first direct contact occurred. A cloaked vessel of the Shadow Fleet appeared near a reptilian cruiser. It was silent, motionless, but the aliens sensed it, an instinctive, fearful awareness that something was wrong. Before they could react, the vessel emitted a low-frequency pulse, temporarily disabling the cruiser's shields and engines. Systems sputtered, alarms blared, but no damage was done. It was a warning, a demonstration of control. Panic spread immediately. "They are everywhere!" shouted a young officer aboard an insectoid warship. "How can they strike us without showing themselves?" Alien fleets tried to regroup. Some attempted evasive maneuvers. Others tried to form defensive formations. But the humans anticipated every move. Every retreat, every counter, every maneuver was calculated. The Shadow Fleet never fired a weapon, yet the aliens felt pressure, as if they were being surrounded, hunted and toyed with all at once. In the asteroid field, a small group of alien ships attempted to flank what they thought was the human warship. They did not realize that cloaked ships of the Shadow Fleet had positioned themselves silently around them, waiting, observing. Minor pulses of energy disrupted engines, sensors, and targeting systems. Confusion spread instantly. Orders were ignored. Ships collided. Retreats turned into chaos. In the center of it all, the main human warship drifted calmly. The captain observed without expression. "They are learning," he said. "Fear is a weapon. Observation is a weapon. Knowledge is the ultimate weapon." A reptilian admiral attempted communication with the humans. "Why are you here? What do you want?" The response came not as words, but as a subtle ripple through sensors, a faint energy pulse that scrambled communications across several fleets. No translation, no explanation, just power. Alien commanders panicked further. Every faction realized that the humans had rewritten the rules. The Shadow Fleet moved like ghosts, striking subtly in response to alien aggression. Ships that attempted to attack were blocked by invisible forces. Ships that tried to flee were guided back into controlled positions. Every alien fleet realized with growing horror that humans were controlling the battlefield without revealing their full strength. Among the alien commanders, fear turned to desperation. "We cannot fight them," one hissed. "We cannot flee. They are everywhere and nowhere." The human captain studied the chaos silently. "Let them guess," he murmured. "Let them wonder. Let them fear." And then the Shadow Fleet revealed itself, briefly. Cloaked vessels shimmered in the corner of alien sensors, enough to confirm their existence, enough to terrify. They struck with precision, disabling weapons without destroying ships. It was a message the aliens could not ignore. Humans were not a single ship. Humans were a force hidden in the shadows, moving with intent and patience, and no one could predict their next move. Alien fleets tried to counter, but the humans remained unseen, untouchable, untiring. Every reaction was anticipated. Every hesitation was exploited. The Shadow Fleet moved like a silent predator through the void, while the main human warship remained the eye of the storm, calm, observing, in control. And then the first human drone appeared among the debris of a destroyed battleship. It hovered silently, scanning, observing, sending data back to the main ship. Alien crews panicked at its presence, firing blindly, but the drone was already gone. The message was clear: nothing could hide from humans. Nothing could move without being seen. Everything was under observation. The cliffhanger loomed across the void. The Shadow Fleet was only the beginning. The humans had more surprises in store, and the aliens had no idea what was coming next. The war zone had transformed. The humans were no longer a single warship. They were a shadow over all space, an invisible force guiding chaos and fear. And the alien fleets could only wonder who or what would strike next. The human warship moved deliberately toward the center of the war zone. The destruction, debris, and shattered alien fleets stretched endlessly before it. Asteroids floated like tombstones in the void, reminders of battles fought and lost. Every alien vessel that remained was either too scared to fight or too cautious to approach. The humans' presence had reshaped the battlefield. Inside the human ship, the captain observed the readings. "The heart of the war zone," he murmured. "This is where the danger is highest. Every fleet, every trap, every minefield. Everything converges here. And this is where we will strike next. Not with weapons, but with intelligence." The crew worked silently. Observation drones moved ahead, mapping the debris, scanning for traps, noting energy signatures. Every hidden mine, every alien defensive formation, every ambush was identified and logged. Humans did not rush. Every movement was calculated, precise, and deliberate. The aliens could not predict it, and the humans preferred it that way. Alien fleets noticed the human ship moving toward the heart of the battlefield and panicked. "They are coming toward the center," shouted one insectoid officer. "No one survives that zone alive." The center of the war zone was chaotic. Mines floated unseen in invisible fields. Hidden turrets lurked among asteroids. Cloaked ships waited for the unwary. It was a trap-filled region, a dead zone, where only the most skilled or the most foolhardy could survive. Many alien commanders had lost entire fleets trying to navigate it, but the humans were different. Their warship moved with confidence, avoiding every mine and trap with uncanny precision. They passed through the asteroid fields as if the hazards were invisible, guided by advanced sensors, strategic calculations, and experience that alien fleets could not comprehend. As the ship advanced, scouts detected small alien warships attempting to flank them. The humans anticipated every move. With subtle energy pulses, they disrupted engines and weapons of approaching ships, forcing them to retreat or surrender. No one was destroyed unnecessarily. Humans preferred efficiency over violence, and the alien crews could feel the difference. They were being controlled without force. "Captain," a young officer said, monitoring energy readings, "there is something buried here. A massive energy signature, older than anything in the war zone. Unknown origin. Very powerful." The captain's eyes narrowed. "That is why we are here. The heart of the war zone is not just the battlefield, it is the weapon hidden at its center. Prepare the drones. We need to know exactly what it is before anyone else can find it." As the drones moved into position, alien forces noticed and tried to intercept. Cloaked ships flitted between debris and wreckage, attempting to block their path. The humans anticipated it. Drones moved faster than expected, appearing where they were needed most, always outmaneuvering alien forces. Panic spread among alien crews. They realized the humans were always one step ahead. Inside the human warship, the crew was tense but composed. "We are close," the captain said. "This is where knowledge matters more than weapons. Observation now, decision later." Suddenly, a massive explosion erupted nearby. One of the hidden mines had been triggered by the aliens' panic, not the humans. Shards of rock and metal flew past, narrowly missing drones and ships alike. Alien crews screamed and cursed, but the humans moved through unscathed, their ship and drones adjusting seamlessly to the chaos. A reptilian admiral, watching helplessly, hissed, "No ship has ever moved like that. They are not attacking, they are untouchable." Even the most cautious alien fleets began to retreat, leaving the heart of the war zone open. But the humans did not attack. They moved in, scanning, mapping, and recording. Every mine, every trap, every hidden weapon was catalogued. Every error the aliens made was logged. The human warship's presence alone was enough to force the aliens out, demonstrating control without destruction. Then the humans found it. Buried deep among the asteroids and wreckage was a massive alien weapon, ancient and powerful. Its core pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. Sensors showed energy levels far beyond anything in current alien fleets. Its purpose was unclear, but its potential for destruction was unmistakable. The captain studied the readings. "This is what everyone was fighting for," he said softly. "But no one knew it existed, and no one is prepared for what it can do if used incorrectly. We must secure it. Observation first, control first. Knowledge is power." Drones moved closer to scan the weapon. The aliens noticed and panicked, sending every available ship to intercept. But the humans anticipated it. Subtle energy pulses disabled engines, scrambled sensors, and disrupted communications. Alien ships collided with debris, spun out of control, or retreated in fear. The humans were in full control of the battlefield, yet no one had fired a destructive weapon. A young officer looked at the captain nervously. "Sir, they will try to take it back. Their fleets will return stronger." The captain nodded. "Let them come. We are ready. This is the heart of the war zone, and now it is ours to understand." Alien fleets began to regroup at the edge of the battlefield. They had seen the humans' power, patience, and precision. They had observed the first strike, the whispers of the unknown, and now the control of the war zone's heart. Fear and uncertainty spread through every fleet. They could not predict the humans' next move. They did not know what humans wanted or how far they were willing to go, and in the darkness of the asteroid-strewn battlefield, the humans prepared for the next phase. Observation drones continued to map the ancient weapon. Data streamed back to the warship, feeding into complex algorithms. The crew studied every detail, every vulnerability, every hidden feature. Humans were patient, precise, and deadly without firing a shot. Then, faint whispers of energy flickered through the asteroid field. Sensors detected movement, not from ships, but from something hidden, something waiting. Alien commanders could not see it. They could only sense it. Panic spread further. The heart of the war zone had secrets beyond the aliens' understanding, and the humans were uncovering them. The humans had reached the center. They had survived traps, mines, ambushes, and enemy fleets. They had discovered an ancient alien weapon, and the aliens could do nothing but watch, fear, and wonder. The cliffhanger loomed like a shadow over the war zone. The humans had found the weapon, but what would they do with it? The aliens could not predict the answer, and that uncertainty was more terrifying than any attack. The war zone had changed forever. Humans had proven that strategy, patience, and intelligence could dominate even the most chaotic battlefield. The heart of the war zone belonged to them now. But the war was far from over. The war zone had grown eerily quiet. Alien fleets hovered at the edge of the heart of the battlefield, shaken, disoriented, unsure what the humans would do next. The ancient weapon had been discovered and mapped by the humans, yet no attack had come. The humans' restraint was more frightening than any strike. It was a silent promise of power they had yet to unleash, but something new stirred in the darkness. Something alien fleets could not see, yet they felt it. Sensors across every alien ship began to fluctuate. Small readings appeared and vanished, as if something moved through space unseen. Engines hiccuped, shields flickered, and targeting arrays scrambled inexplicably. Alien crews whispered of ghostly forces, invisible hands manipulating the battlefield. Fear became a tangible thing. Insectoid commanders hissed frantically. "What is this?" "Our systems. They are failing." "But no one is here." Reptilian admirals growled. "It is not the humans. Not directly. Something else. Something intelligent." Even the crystalline fleets, long thought calm and implacable, vibrated with anxiety. Every species present sensed the same thing. The humans were no longer the only threat. Inside the human warship, the captain studied energy readings with intense focus. "They are aware of something else," he said. "Good. Let them feel it. Let them fear the unknown. Patience, observation, control." Humans deployed specialized drones, smaller and faster than before. Unlike earlier observation units, these drones emitted subtle interference pulses designed to manipulate energy flows and sensor readings across alien fleets. No damage occurred, but panic spread. Ships that had thought themselves safe suddenly experienced malfunctions. Engines stalled. Weapon systems glitched. Communications went silent for critical moments. Alien commanders accused each other of sabotage. "It's a trap. They have turned against us," a young officer shouted. But it was no trap. The humans remained calm, orchestrating chaos without firing a shot. The unseen enemy, the interference, was part of their strategy. Then came the first direct encounter. In the shadow of a massive asteroid, a small alien cruiser drifted too close to an energy anomaly. Its sensors went haywire. Crew members scrambled as alarms blared. The cruiser's engines failed temporarily, leaving it drifting helplessly. The alien commander yelled orders, but the ship continued to falter. From the human warship, a drone observed quietly. Data streamed back to the main bridge. Every reaction, every panic-stricken maneuver, every error was recorded. Humans were not just observing. They were teaching, learning, and controlling simultaneously. Alien fleets realized that the humans had turned the battlefield into a trap without ever firing a weapon. Every movement was anticipated, every hesitation exploited. And now, with the unseen enemy, the energy anomalies, the humans had added another layer of terror. The aliens attempted to respond. Squadrons coordinated, trying to locate the source of the interference. Energy beams scanned the void, but the anomalies were clever, unpredictable, and fleeting. Each attempt to detect or counter them failed, and alien morale began to crumble. A reptilian admiral cursed in frustration. "We cannot fight what we cannot see. We cannot flee from what we cannot track." The humans remained calm. Inside the bridge, the captain leaned forward. "The unseen enemy is only an extension of us," he said. "We do not need to fight openly. We do not need to destroy every ship. Fear, uncertainty, hesitation. These are weapons far more powerful than lasers or missiles." Meanwhile, whispers spread among the alien crews. Some reported shadows moving across sensor displays. Others spoke of faint pulses of energy brushing past their ships. No one could explain them. Everyone feared them. Panic became contagious. Then came the first loss. A small insectoid ship, separated from its formation, experienced a complete engine failure. It drifted helplessly into an asteroid, tearing apart. The cause was unclear, but every alien pilot suspected the humans or the unseen enemy. Rumors of invisible attackers, of manipulating energy fields, of ghostly warships spread like wildfire. Alien factions began blaming each other. Coordination broke down. Fleets that had survived centuries of war faltered under this new, intangible threat. It was no longer just humans. They were facing something beyond comprehension. Inside the human warship, the captain monitored everything. "They are showing their weaknesses," he said. "Observe, learn, they panic, they hesitate, they expose themselves." This is the advantage of patience. Energy anomalies flickered again. Systems across alien fleets glitched in unison. Communications faltered. Engines sputtered. Ships drifted out of formation, vulnerable and confused. Alien commanders struggled to regain control, but every attempt failed. A young officer whispered in fear, "It's as if something is alive in the space itself." "And it is against us," the captain nodded slightly. "Exactly. And now they know fear. They know the unknown. That is the first step toward understanding humans." Then, one of the Shadow Fleet drones moved closer to the ancient alien weapon at the heart of the war zone. It scanned silently, gathering information, while broadcasting subtle energy pulses that caused minor but widespread confusion in the surrounding alien ships. Every move was precise, careful, and controlled. Alien commanders attempted desperate measures. They launched coordinated attacks toward the drone, only to find their efforts misaligned and ineffective. Missiles missed their targets, energy beams fizzled, engines stalled mid-burn. Panic spread faster than any weapon ever could. The unseen enemy, humans using technology and strategy instead of brute force, had turned the battlefield into a living nightmare. Alien fleets did not know what to strike, where to hide, or who to trust. Every choice could be fatal, every hesitation costly. From the human bridge, the captain's calm voice echoed quietly. "They are learning. Fear teaches faster than pain. Confusion teaches faster than injury. Let them see what happens when humans control the unseen." Then a final, subtle pulse spread across the war zone. Alien ships all experienced minor malfunctions simultaneously. Engines hiccuped, weapons misfired, sensors scrambled. Ships drifted helplessly, caught in the invisible grip of human strategy. The alien fleets realized the terrifying truth. The humans were not just a warship or a shadow fleet. Humans were patience, intelligence, observation, and control. They could dominate without firing a shot. They could strike unseen, manipulate the battlefield, and dismantle enemy coordination, all without revealing their full power. The cliffhanger loomed across the void. The unseen enemy was only the beginning. The humans had more surprises, more strategies, and more power hidden in the shadows. The alien fleets had no idea what would come next, and that uncertainty was more terrifying than any weapon. The war zone had changed forever. Humans had proven that fear, observation, and intelligence were as deadly as lasers or missiles. Alien fleets were on edge, waiting for the next move that might never be revealed until it was too late. The war zone was a web of chaos, fear, and uncertainty. Alien fleets floated at the edges of the battlefield, crippled by confusion, unsure where the humans would strike next. The Shadow Fleet, the unseen energy pulses, and the calculated movements of the human warship had changed the rules entirely. Every alien commander knew one terrifying fact: the humans were always one step ahead. Inside the human warship, the captain leaned over the main console, eyes scanning the heart of the war zone. "It is time," he said. "The gambit begins. Observation alone is not enough. Knowledge must become action." The crew moved efficiently. Drones darted into position, mapping every remaining alien ship, every hidden mine, every cloaked vessel. Data streamed back to the main bridge, feeding advanced algorithms that predicted alien movements with near-perfect accuracy. Every reaction, hesitation, and panic point had been logged. Now it was time to exploit them. Alien fleets sensed something was coming. Energy readings shifted subtly, almost imperceptibly. Engines hummed anxiously. Shields flared at odd moments. Alien commanders whispered warnings across channels, but none could identify the source. Fear of the unknown had reached a peak. "Prepare the main strike," the captain ordered. But remember, precision, efficiency, control. The strike was not violent at first. Small energy pulses rippled across the battlefield, subtly disabling alien weapon systems and engines. Ships drifted helplessly, caught in an invisible web. Alien commanders panicked, shouting orders that were ignored or misinterpreted due to disrupted communications. Their fleets were already in disarray before a single laser had fired. Then the human warship moved forward, drifting calmly into the heart of the battlefield. Cloaked vessels of the Shadow Fleet emerged briefly, positioning themselves around the largest alien ships. The humans did not attack immediately. They waited, letting panic and fear do the work. One by one, alien ships faltered. Engines stalled. Shields flickered. Weapon systems glitched. A massive insectoid battleship spun uncontrollably, colliding with debris, while nearby ships attempted to assist but were similarly affected. The humans controlled the battlefield without firing a shot. The alien commanders realized the terrifying truth. Every move had been anticipated. Every reaction had been calculated. The humans were orchestrating the war zone, like a conductor leading an orchestra. Every ship and weapon perfectly timed, even without aggressive attacks. Inside the human ship, the captain spoke quietly. "Now we act." Suddenly, a controlled burst of energy radiated outward from the main ship. Alien ships were hit precisely, disabling their weapons without causing unnecessary destruction. Drones deployed at calculated points, further disrupting enemy systems. The Shadow Fleet maneuvered flawlessly, cutting off potential escape routes. Alien commanders scrambled. "We cannot fight this," shouted one reptilian admiral. "Our systems fail. Our ships, they are useless." The humans advanced methodically, exploiting every weakness they had observed for weeks. Alien fleets that had been confident in their numbers were now helpless. Every maneuver had been predicted. Every hope of retreat or counterattack was crushed before it began. A young officer aboard an insectoid cruiser whispered to his commander, trembling, They know everything. They predicted every step we took. How is that possible?" The commander said nothing. He only stared at the readouts, eyes wide with fear. There was no answer. Humans were unlike any enemy they had faced before. Inside the human warship, the captain studied the ancient alien weapon at the heart of the battlefield. Its energy pulsed faintly, dangerous but stable. "We will secure it," he said. "But first, the alien fleets must learn the cost of miscalculation." Drones moved closer, scanning and disabling traps around the weapon. Alien ships attempted to intervene, but were immediately neutralized by precise pulses of energy. Engines failed. Weapon systems glitched. Communication lines cut. The humans' control was complete. Then the main warship deployed a sequence of subtle, synchronized energy waves. These waves disabled the remaining alien fleet's ability to coordinate. Confusion spread like wildfire. Alien pilots panicked. Orders were ignored. Chaos reigned. The humans did not fire aggressively. They did not need to. Their control of the battlefield was absolute. Alien fleets were trapped, vulnerable, and disoriented. The ancient weapon at the center remained intact under the humans' watchful eyes. The alien leaders realized with horror that their numbers and firepower no longer mattered. They were outmaneuvered, outthought, and completely at the mercy of a species they had barely understood. Fear gripped every mind. The captain watched silently. "This is the final gambit," he said. "We do not need to destroy them. We only need to demonstrate control. Knowledge is power. Fear is a weapon. And patience. Patience wins wars." In the darkness of the war zone, alien fleets drifted helplessly. The humans' power was undeniable. Every move, every hesitation, every system failure had been predicted and exploited. The Shadow Fleet and the main warship had demonstrated that humans were not only deadly, they were clever, patient, and terrifyingly efficient. The cliffhanger loomed. The humans had orchestrated the battlefield, controlled the fleets, and secured the weapon. But the aliens would not surrender quietly. The final confrontation was approaching, and the war zone itself hung in suspense, waiting for the ultimate move. Humans had shown their power, strategy, and patience. Alien fleets had seen the limits of their technology and experience. And yet the final chapter had not yet been written. The war zone waited. The humans waited. And every alien ship trembled, knowing that the final gamble, the decisive moment, was imminent. The war zone was quiet, yet it thrummed with tension. Alien fleets hovered at the edge of the battlefield, broken, disoriented, and terrified. The human warship, Shadow Fleet, and drones moved like silent predators among the wreckage. The ancient alien weapon at the center of the battlefield pulsed faintly, a reminder of the destruction it could unleash. But under the humans' control, it remained dormant. Inside the human ship, the captain stood at the bridge, observing the battlefield with calm precision. "It is done," he said softly. "They have seen humanity's strength, intelligence, and patience. Now they will hear our message." The humans had orchestrated the final gambit with perfect timing. Alien fleets were trapped, systems disabled, and morale shattered. Ships drifted helplessly, engines flickering, weapons offline, communications scrambled. The humans had proven that intelligence, strategy, and restraint were more powerful than firepower alone. A young officer approached the captain. "Sir, what now? Do we destroy them or—" The captain shook his head. "No, destruction is not the goal. Humanity does not conquer through fear alone. We control by understanding, by showing what happens when intelligence is applied. Let them survive to remember the lesson. From the human warship, subtle energy pulses spread across the battlefield. Alien ships felt them as invisible waves, disrupting navigation and weapon systems just enough to prevent chaos from turning into destruction. No lives were taken unnecessarily. Humans had won without bloodshed. Yet the message was clear. Humanity was a force unlike any other. Alien commanders, trembling, realized they were powerless. They had witnessed the first strike, the whispers of the unknown, the Shadow Fleet, the unseen enemy, and the final gambit. Every move had been anticipated, every hesitation exploited. And yet the humans had not fired destructively. A reptilian admiral whispered to his officers, voice trembling. We cannot fight them. They control everything, even our minds almost. How is that possible?" Inside the human ship, the captain studied the ancient weapon. "This is the key," he said. "Not to destroy, but to secure. Knowledge is power. Understanding is control, and fear is a tool, not a goal." Drones moved around the weapon, scanning, recording, and cataloging its systems. Alien fleets could only watch helplessly as humans analyzed a weapon they could not hope to use, a technology far beyond their comprehension. Then the humans sent the first direct communication. It was not a threat. It was a statement of presence, of power, and of warning. Alien fleets received it as subtle pulses encoded into their sensors. Intelligence, precision, and restraint combined into a single message. Humans are here. Observe carefully. Do not provoke. The alien commanders were shaken. No one could reply. No one could resist. The humans' presence alone had rewritten the rules of engagement across the war zone. They had fought with brains, not brute force. They had won without mass destruction. As the message spread, alien fleets began to withdraw, retreating to their own space. Some tried to regroup. Some carried fear like a shadow. Every fleet left behind debris and wreckage, a testament to their failed plans. But no humans had been harmed unnecessarily. Inside the human ship, the captain turned to his crew. The war zone is secured. The ancient weapon is controlled. Alien fleets will remember this day, and they will respect humanity. The crew, calm and focused, continued to monitor the retreating alien forces. They logged every reaction, every hesitation, every misstep. The humans had proven that intelligence, strategy, and observation were more powerful than any weapon, more decisive than brute force. In the far reaches of space, whispers of humanity's power began to spread. Reports reached alien civilizations beyond the war zone. Ships spoke of the humans' precision, patience, and restraint. Even those who had not seen the battle firsthand felt the echoes, and then the human warship activated its engines, slowly drifting away from the heart of the war zone. The Shadow Fleet followed silently, unseen. Drones returned to the ship, bringing the last streams of data. Humanity's presence had reshaped the war zone permanently. A young officer spoke softly. "Sir, they will never forget this," the captain nodded. "No, and neither will the stars. Humanity has arrived, and the echoes of today will ripple across the galaxy for centuries to come." As the ship moved into the void, sensors recorded one final observation: alien fleets scattered. Systems struggling to recover, fear lingering like a shadow across space. The humans had not just won a battle. They had demonstrated what it meant to be a force unlike any other. The cliffhanger faded into a quiet, victorious silence. But the lesson was clear. Wherever humans traveled, wherever they chose to act, their intelligence, strategy, and patience would leave an imprint. The echoes across the stars would be remembered long after the battle ended. The war zone was silent, but humanity's mark had been etched into it forever.